want to ask about Mike Smith and kind of the puck-moving ability. You know, it seems like, you know, forwards are trying to support the D so that you're under less pressure. Mike Smith doing what he does kind of does that exact same thing. Just how critical is that for the way that your D wants to play, not under pressure?
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's pretty incredible the way he plays the puck and the way he sees the ice. And, you know, we've talked to him about it, and he, you know, he's always watching the play and kind of seeing it develop. And then he's coming out and he's making a play like a defenseman would. So it's hard to put into words how much of a difference it makes when you're going back for a puck. And, you know, most of the time you're not even touching it. Smitty's doing most of the work. So it's pretty amazing. And I think he's probably, you know, he played with Turco there. I think he's probably one of the best puck handlers to ever do it. So we're lucky to have him, and he's playing great, obviously, too.
You haven't been here as long as he has, but I think one of the things is that when you play the puck that much, you're prone to make some mistakes with it. Like your percentage is, you're going to have some mistakes in there. It seems to me for the amount he plays the puck, the number of mistakes that he's made this year is, you know, his batting average is pretty solid on plays. Yeah,
I mean, we go back for pucks all the time and throw pizzas and make mistakes too. So he's doing it with the glove on. So it's super impressive. And, you know, even if something does happen or whatever, you know, you just shrug it off because the majority of the stuff he is doing is helping us tremendously. So yeah, he's been great with the puck all year.
Tyson, you and Brett Kulak have been put together here, and I know the last few games there's 7 defensemen, but you and Brett have had a lot of success together when you look at limiting goals, scoring goals. What have you liked about the pairing? Why has it worked?
Yeah, I think Cooley's a great skater. He's super mobile, confident, and he makes good plays. And I think he's a great guy, and we just kind of communicate well. And you know, we know what's expected of us, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of executing that.
Since Jay and Dave Manson joined the team, you guys have played 7 defensemen, I think, in like 14 or 15 of the 32 games. When they do it, it's almost like guys have specialty roles, it seems. How do you like that? Is it a big adjustment for a D-man? Because, you know, there's a lot of guys who see a few minutes come off over what their average is. How is that adjusting to it?
Yeah, it's for sure an adjustment. I think you go 7 and, you know, everyone's minutes come down a little bit, and you're probably more, like you mentioned, kind of have your specific role. And, you know, in particular, depending on the game, you know, what the other team's lines look like, et cetera. But, I mean, he finds a way to keep us in the groove, and you don't feel like you're sitting too long. And, you know, I think we've been pretty successful when we've played 7. We're getting wins, and it's definitely not as taxing on the D. So, I mean, it's working, and you know, we're playing well, so no complaints.
I wanted to ask you about the fatigue factor, and is it that noticeable? Like when you're playing 3 minutes less a game, do you notice that? Do you feel like you've got more energy late in games?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely, the less you play, the easier it is on the body. I think sometimes it can be hard to, you know, when you do play 20 and you're, you know, up in a little higher minutes, you get into a bit of a rhythm and you're rolling and you're feeling pretty good. But it's definitely easier on the body to play less. Mentally, you got to stay in it, and that can be a challenge. But yeah, definitely easier on the body.
Norris Trophy. Us scribes are voting on that thing. We're looking at Yossi. We're looking at McCarr. We're looking at some always Hedman's in there. What do you think?
Who would be my pick for it? Is that what you're asking?
Like,
yeah.
Handicap us here.
Jeez, I don't know. I think either of those two guys would be, I mean, they kind of, I know Victor's having another great year too, but I think, you know, what Yost has done is pretty spectacular. And I know Kale and what he's doing and what he's been doing. I don't know. I don't know who you give that to. I feel bad for whoever has to pick that. That's a tough one. And yeah, I truly don't know. I think it's pretty remarkable what Yossi's done there in Nashville. And, you know, they've made a resurgence and they're a playoff team again. And, but then, you know, you look at what Kale's doing there too. It's, I don't know who I'd say. Flip a coin. I don't know. They've both been amazing this year.
I don't know if you're a guy that's watching, I think you're a hockey guy, you're watching hockey on the off nights. There's a lot of stuff. Vancouver's, you know, playing for their lives. LA wins a big game last night. You guys aren't out of that, but you're sort of on the upper crust of that, where every night isn't an absolute life or death at this point. You've been in both situations. What's it like, and is it fairly, I'm not saying you're comfortable and home and cooled here, but is it nicer not to be in the fray a little bit?
Yeah, I think the last month we've kind of been playing in that mindset where there's no nights off. I think the only reason we're not in that situation is because of how well we've played lately and how much importance we put on every game we've played. And I think we've done a good job, and we've kind of put ourselves in a position here where, we're playing meaningful games against good teams, and we've got to, take care of business, but we're not dealing with what Vegas or Vancouver or some of these teams are dealing with. And I think that's a credit to us in the room and playing some really good hockey the last couple months.
Tyson, you mentioned Mike Smith. Does he think like a forward or a defenseman and not a goalie when he's handling the puck?
No, I think he probably thinks more like a D-man. He says he's always watching the play develop and seeing where their forward check's coming from. And, the way our system is, he kind of knows where his outs are going to be. So before he goes and plays the puck, he'll take a peek and see where they're coming from, and then, kind of make his read off that. And it sure helps us back there, though. It's great to have.
So percentages as a defenseman, I know the defenseman just peeled to the sideboards. Do you just figure that 99% of the time, no matter where they dump it in, he's getting the puck? And
yeah, he's such a good skater, too. I think that's probably underappreciated is how well he moves. I think the first thing, if he's going to go get to those pucks, he's got to be able to skate. So he does a great job at that. And then, we just kind of peel to the corners, and, if we're wide open, he usually finds us. But if there's a heavy forward check, which there is a lot of the time, he's usually, keeping it going or hitting the winger, or sometimes you'll see he'll even hold it and find the low centerman, which is pretty crazy. So, Schmidt's a world-class puck handler, no doubt.
not every goalie is, though. Can you watch the other goalies around the league? Is he just so far removed from a lot of the goalies who just stop up behind the neck and say that's enough?
Yeah, I think there's a handful of guys who can move the puck pretty well, but I think Smitty's kind of, put himself in a class of his own over his career, and it's a luxury to have for sure, and we're grateful for it.
Thank you.
Tyson, I just wanted to ask you about Jay. There were so many players that either had him in the minors or had him here as an assistant coach. You're one of probably about 6 or 8 guys that had no sort of experience with him. With that in mind, what were you kind of expecting, and what's he been like regarding the way he handles systems, preparation, and obviously eventually the success you guys have had?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. It was kind of, the coaching change happened, and, guys had said he was super detailed and prepared, and that's exactly what he is. He's a super nice guy, and he's easy to talk to, and but I think he's given us some great structure and some good, he lets us play our game, but inside of a pretty tight structure and a detailed one, and he's preaching the right things, and I've been super impressed with him and Dave and how they prepare our team to play every night.